Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Red Outkerk Paul for the second NFT show. We did a show on R2, the first one. That show was including a little bit of video, and I learned that most of you are now listening in. So we will not have video this time. We will have video recording. So if you want to see our faces, then it is possible to see on YouTube that we recorded this, including video. Today, our guest is NFT Blocks. Joan, maybe you can introduce yourself.
Yes, thanks, Red. My name is Juan Paniagua. I'm one of the co-founders of NFT Blocks. And yes, I have been working on the NFT space for a little bit more than 1 year now. It's incredible that it's, only a little bit more than 1 year.
Only a little bit. Oh, then you're an OG already. And my co-host basically is Yannick. Yannick, a few words from your side.
Yes, so my name is Yannick Slente, and I've been involved with a variety of NFT projects over the past year. And before that, all kinds of blockchain projects. And the space is moving so fast. So it's really nice to have Juan here today to talk us through what he's been doing with NFT Blocks and all of the things that are going on in the NFT space. It's a very fast moving space and it's so much going on. So we love to hear more from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So a little bit about your background. I mean, we've met in person. I'm recording it out of Portugal, and you're in the Netherlands, in Almere, a town that I used to live in as well. And maybe even a lot of our audience lives in the Netherlands. So how did you end up in Almere?
Wow, yes, that's an interesting one because I moved to the Netherlands almost 10 years ago. And I moved here because of kind of a job opportunity, partnership opportunity. At that time I had a software development company in Guatemala. I'm originally from Guatemala, and we used to do a lot of business with Dutch companies through a software developer I knew here in the Netherlands. And at some point he told me, "Oh, maybe if you move to the Netherlands, we can grow this together and make a bigger company out of this." And that's what happened. I moved to the Netherlands, but around 1 year after, we said, "Look, this is not going the way we expected. So go and do whatever you want." And I said, "Okay, I'm already here in the Netherlands. Let's find out the best way to stay here and do something." And little by little, I started working with other partners, and at some point, I was able to start a company here, and I started. Initially, I thought a software development company, which kind of worked, but when I really made it work the way I wanted was when we started relocating people to the Netherlands. Apparently, Dutch companies prefer the developers sitting in their office and not having someone 10,000 kilometers away writing software for them. But yeah, that's basically how I ended up here.
Yeah. And they still love it, even in this COVID times, that they will want to have the people in the office, or is it now different times?
You know, it's a little bit of both, because we still have many developers from Latin America who are working here in the Netherlands. And it's funny because some of them are working from home here in the Netherlands, which is what they didn't want it. But some of them are still going to the customer offices. And that's okay. But in reality, I'm not that involved with that company anymore. I'm fully focusing on NFT blocks and NFTs at the time being.
So what made you so enthusiastic about NFTs?
Yeah, just like Yannick, I'm very involved in crypto, very enthusiastic, and I started with getting involved in crypto maybe in 2016, around 2016. And since then, I said, "Oh, I want to work full time on crypto. I want to work full time on crypto." And suddenly, at the end of 2020, early 2021, I learned about NFTs, and well, I already knew about NFTs, but I learned about the Wax blockchain and how NFTs work there. And I said, wow, there's a huge opportunity here. No fees, time to finality, almost immediate, a great community. And I said, okay, there must be something we can do here. And I started by creating a collection because that was my first idea. I want to have a collection. I never thought about building a platform. That was not in my plans. We created the collection Alpaca Awards, which is a collection we still manage, and we still create drops and release NFTs now and then. But that's how I got first involved in the NFTs world.
Mm-hmm.
And soon I realized that there was a big need for tools to make the creator's life easier.
Yes, we're both very enthusiastic about Wax. I didn't properly introduce myself for people that haven't seen the first show. I'm a board member in Two Tokens, and I've been asked to do the NFT show. So that's why I'm recording a couple of series here. But in daily life, I'm the founder of EOS Amsterdam. That's a block producer for multiple blockchains, and the Wax blockchain is one of them. It's the most used blockchain in the world with the most transactions. It's really like an enormous platform. Yesterday, it's now February 8th. Yesterday, I went to one of the explorers and saw that there were like 12 million accounts created. Of course, a part of that are bots. But it's a huge amount of people that trade these NFTs on these platforms. And one of the big advantages is that the transactions are free. And so for everybody that have ever purchased an NFT on OpenSea or any of the other platforms and had to pay gas fees, there are platforms where transactions are free. Wax is the leader in the space. Proton also has an NFT platform, also there, same technology under the hood. All of them use the EOS.io technology under the hood. And transactions are free. Block times are half a second. Very interesting technology to build up on. NFT blocks. So you're building tools. We have been using them as well. But tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So NFT blocks started, as I said, as a set of tools for creators. At the time, we were creating tools to facilitate creators' life, but targeted at making things easier on Atomic Hub. And that's how we started. And we quickly gained a lot of traction because we started making things really easier for creators. And little by little, we started creating our own drop tools and some other tools, always targeted at creators. And that grew to being today an end-to-end collection management platform. Now it's possible from NFT blocks to create a collection, start defining templates, minting NFTs, creating drops, creating crafting mechanics. Almost everything that you need to do for a collection, you can do it from NFT blocks. And we also have a secondary market, a marketplace where collectors can trade their NFTs. All of these based on the Atomic Asset Standard. We think that there's no need to reinvent the wheel once there is something that already has traction and that is a good standard. Why are we going to build something different? There's no need for that.
Yannick, you've been using it. What there's a few words here maybe the audience never heard about: minting and dropping. And so Yannick, why do you use it, and what do these words mean even?
Yes, so there's a lot to
a lot to unpack.
Yeah,
a lot
exactly.
to unpack for the audience. So let's start. What's minting?
So essentially, like minting is when you have an NFT, and that NFT is based on a template. And a template is essentially defines certain attributes of that NFT. And then you mint NFTs based on that template. So for example, I can mint 10 NFTs based on a certain template, and it will be the same attributes, the same information, and that could all be traced back to that one template. And then I know that there's 10 of these going around. And then I can also see like how many can be minted, what does this NFT represent? That's all in the attributes, and you can put anything in there. And then going to the drops are, I think, the most common way that NFTs are sold, and they're often bundled in packs. But then through the drop, you just have a page where somebody can buy. It's like a shop. Essentially, it's just a shop, and every drop is an item in the shop. But you can also have, for example, multiple NFTs or multiple packs inside one drop. So that's how it usually works. And then NFT Blocks is facilitating that and adding a bunch of different features that aren't supported by, for example, Atomic Hub. And that's, I think, one of the main benefits. I think maybe Juan, you can explain what are the benefits of using NFT Blocks, or why should someone use NFT Blocks over any other tool?
Well, I would say simplicity. I would say, yeah, using NFT Blocks, it's all about making the creator's life easier. I'll give you a couple of examples. When we started with our first collection, and we wanted to create one of these drops, which is where you sell your NFTs for the first time, you had to interact directly with a smart contract. And for example, you wanted this drop to start at 3 p.m. That contract does not accept 3 p.m. as a valid time. You have to go and know a little bit about Unix and know what is an epoch. So you have to convert the time to an epoch and then use that epoch, which is a long series of numbers. And that's the start time. And we said, come on, this is not reasonable. If we want creators, people who are not technical, to be able to create NFTs easily, we have to provide better tools. And that's what we did with NFT Blocks, making life easier. Also, even if we say that, for example, on Wax, there are no fees when you are doing transactions, you need to provide resources like RAM or CPU. One of the things that we do at NFT Blocks is that when you are configuring your drop, your packs, whatever you are doing, we give you an estimate of the amount of resources that will be consumed, and we allow you to buy it directly and add it to the contract. So that those kind of things make creator lives so much simpler, and that's what we are focusing on all the time, making things easier for creators.
So an artist that wants to sell 15 pictures that he has made, he can define a rarity structure, say, okay, this picture, I want 5 editions on the blockchain, and this picture only 1, and this picture 10, and this picture 1,000. So that is possible with NFT Blocks to really break it down for an artist, for somebody who creates beautiful NFTs with a whole storyline around it. That's possible with NFT Blocks. So you don't need any technical people?
No, you don't need any technical people. You're able to do it all by yourself. Something that we really focus on is on making our tools self-service.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there are still things that we need to build to feel the full cycle, but we are working on that direction. But for the most common things, you can do everything on your own on NFT Blocks.
It's very nice. Also, talking about the self-service, I saw you had the self-service banners, which I think is a really interesting feature because it automates the process of essentially having a marketing banner up on the front page of NFT Blocks. How does that work?
Yes, basically in the past, we used to offer banners to creators to promote their NFTs, but it was a manual process. So they had to come with one of our support team members and ask, okay, is there availability for this time? Can I publish? So early this year in January, we released the self-service banners. So now every creator can go to their creator tools and they can check the space availability for banners and directly book their banners from there. It only has one small verification process because we don't want violent material or pornography or whatever published in our banners. So there's always a verification, but for the rest, the creator can request the publication of a banner on its own. And that's exactly the philosophy behind everything we do. Creator should be able to do everything on his own.
Yeah, because the space is difficult. We already unpacked a few words. I hope we didn't lose the audience with when we did that, because it still sounds like pretty technical, but the aim is really to make it very user-friendly. As a child can do the washes, we say in the Netherlands.
Yes.
Yeah. My son even published some NFTs, and he did some good business because, of course, his father needed to purchase all of them. So is it a success now, Juan?
Well, I would say yes. It's very successful. I have to say I can't complain. We have been gaining traction every day. Of course, there are ups and downs, and I think that that's also part of how crypto works. You have moments where there's a lot of hype and prices go up, and the moment where the volume goes down. I think for NFTs,
it feels like everything is correlated to the price of Bitcoin.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Yeah. And what kind of features are you working on right now?
Okay, we are working on a lot of things at the moment, because we started a full rebuild of our marketplace, all the secondary market. We have a new site built from scratch, which focuses more on usability, and where we hired a UX expert and everything. So it's a full redesign, and it has been implemented from scratch. I wanted to release at the end of January, but unfortunately we needed to test more. But I'm pretty confident that we'll be releasing very soon this new version of the website. And we are also working on a lot of improvements to the creator tools. We are simplifying many things there. And we are also adding some things that I even discussed with Yannick last year, because there are things that I think that it's very important to start interacting more with the real world. So we are also working on a redemption way. We are experimenting with that right now, but yeah, it's not there yet, but it was on our to-do list for a long time, and now finally I have someone dedicated to creating that.
Oh, that's great to hear.
And we also have lots of things going on, as I said. Last year we released the NFT token, which is a token that we use to allow creators to gain access to our premium features and premium support. And we are working on a new version of the tokenomics that is, it's the result of listening to what both creators and collectors have given us as feedback. And we are modifying many of these rules. And we are also making that the NFT token will be a deflationary token the moment we release these new tokenomics.
Tokenomics is a very interesting field. What's the thought process when you are designing a token like that? Can you take us on that journey? Or is that a very complicated question?
Yeah, I think it's a very extensive question, but I will try to summarize, because it has a lot of challenges. When you create a token, you need to make something that is, first off, it is useful. It must have a purpose. Otherwise, it's there's nothing. It will pump and dump, and that's its life. You can see that with a lot of click to earn games nowadays, or many tokens that are released, but the token is not really useful, so it's not successful. So first off, I think there has to be utility. Your token needs a purpose, and then you need to think a lot about regulations. Where do you want your token to fall, or where can you accept or afford your token to be, in which category? So for us, we wanted to create a network token or platform token, a utility token that allowed users of the platform to gain access to something that that they would not get if they don't have this token. Since we started designing this token, we didn't want it to be an investment, because it's very common.
Yeah.
We really wanted to see it as something that grants you access to features of the platform. But yeah, getting there, it's very complex, and then you have regulations, and yeah, you have to comply with those regulations, and then you have to also go to your accountant and say, okay, how are we going to register all of this in our books? And it's really a lot of learning.
And that's even why I think you became member of Two Tokens, right? I mean, you wanted to be part of an ecosystem with people that all of us are struggling with the same things. How do you do it legally? How do you do this in accounting wise, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, it's definitely a challenging time. And yeah, as a board member, I know that we are approached by all kinds of people in the ecosystem, and regulators, and enterprise customers, and entrepreneurs like yourself. It's really an interesting field, and that's why we are also organizing these podcasts to share the knowledge. Yannick, anything to add on tokenomics, because you are within EOS Amsterdam absolutely the guru on that, I would say, together with Sycamo.
Yeah, so with tokenomics, it's always difficult to align the interests of the current token holders, whatever you want to get out of it yourself as a company, but also make sure that everything is within the regulations, that you're complying with everything that is needed. And it's a very complex process, and it takes a lot of time to get it right. But I think, for example, the token that NFT Blocks has, something that has actual utility within an ecosystem, those are the best tokens. And if they have provable value, not something that we're gonna build a platform or we're gonna be doing this, but you already have something that works, it's a proven concept, and then you add a token that actually adds value and gives you some clear value proposition. And I think that's important to keep in mind. As Juan also said, it needs to have utility first of all, and then all of the other things come. You shouldn't do a token just because you want to do a token, but it should add something.
Absolutely. And something you said here, it's very important also when we were doing all our research. If the platform is already there, and then you launch the token to grant access to some of these features, your token is a utility token. If the platform is not there, even if you plan to release this token to grant you access to the platform, then it's not a utility feature, it's an investment, because you are betting on the success of something that will be built in the future. So for us, it was very important that the platform had to be there before we released the token.
Yeah, absolutely. And such a thin line that people often forget, and that's when they get into legal trouble. And I think you've carefully avoided that by just launching the platform first and proving that it's successful. It's a great way to go about it.
Yeah, it's a lot of things that you have to consider. And in the end, for us, at some point we said, okay, regulations are no longer that important because of what we had to do and where we registered the company and so on. But in the end, you want to be able to build a company that can operate worldwide. So even if in the jurisdiction where you are operating at the moment, that is not mandatory, if you think about the future, you have to be very careful and think of all of these things since the beginning, since you start designing your tokenomics.
You mentioned the word future. That's a very, so the next, let's say 12 months, what will happen with NFTs? What exciting times do you see ahead?
I don't know if this is what is going to happen, but it's what I would like to happen.
Okay, that's even better.
Yeah, first thing, I think there are two different areas for NFTs, and one is all these play to earn games and games in general. I think that that has a lot of future, but not only click to earn games. I think we should get past the click to earn game and start building games that are really engaging, really entertaining, games where people plays because it's entertaining, because I want to play, I want to spend 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever, playing, not clicking and waiting for my reward to come. That's not a game. That's yeah, sorry for all the platforms that are out there and work like that. For me, that is not sustainable over time. We really need to create engagement in games if we want them to succeed and be there for many years.
Yeah, but I think that for that to happen, we also need like the bigger brands to embrace blockchain. The big titles, big companies, Apple ecosystem, Android ecosystem.
Yes, and that will happen, but I think that there's also a lot of possibilities for small creators, for small gaming studios to come to the NFT world and make this happen, because it's much more difficult for an Apple or a Google that have big companies, they have a much more complex regulations and so on. It's easier for a smaller studio to innovate in this area, I think, and it's an opportunity to take.
I absolutely agree. Anything to add, Yannick?
No, I agree. I think play to earn is like a major thing that's coming, and I'm sure that as we speak, there's companies currently developing better games than the ones that are currently out there. And I think we're going to see some very interesting games coming out this year. And I also think that just as the ecosystem grows, more people come in, that everything will mature a bit more. So I think things like credit card support, those things will get sorted out. It will get more standardized. And I think we will also see more ID verification to prevent scams and to just make the ecosystem a bit more mature overall. I think those are some of the developments that we will see over the coming months.
Yeah, you know, that's something in a small parenthesis there. At NFTblocks, we already have KYC for creators. Every verification that we do includes an identity verification. So I think we are working on the right direction there. We don't want to verify creators anymore based on, oh, is this original, is this not, is this a good quality art, is this not? That's not for me to decide. But what is for me very important is to say, okay, you are who you say you are, and you are willing to sign a contract that you are going to follow these rules when you use our platform. And that is very important. Have more transparency there, and people who are willing to say who they are and commit and play by the rules. I think that's very important in the future.
I absolutely agree. So it will be challenging to see Banksy on the blockchain, but no, he is already there. But is it really him? Of course, that is the big question. But I mean, the normal world KYC, know your customer, will absolutely not only come to publishers but also to the consumers.
In the end, it will, yes.
Because we need to absolutely know that it's not a bot in many cases, because that just is less fun to play against bots or to interact with bots. I think this space can really be a lot more entertaining if you are interacting with other humans.
Yes, but in the end, I think that we will never get rid 100% of bots.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that they are even needed. It's just think about a trading platform, and not NFT trading, but crypto trading or even stock exchanges and whatever. There are bots there, and bots are an important part of the ecosystem anyway. They should just play by certain rules. It should not be a wild west. So I think they have to be there. Market makers in the end most of them are bots. So I don't know. we need to learn to live with them.
It's absolute challenging times with this particular topic. We're 30 minutes now, so I would like to do the last closing remarks. Anything to add? Open question. What would you like your audience to know now?
Okay, just let me quickly go to the second thing that I think that will be big with NFTs, and I think is utility. We have to start creating NFT projects that bring utility. It's very nice to think about the art, to think about this and that, but utility is important. Why am I buying this NFT? It's not only because it's a nice JPEG to have. No, there has to be utility, and that will also come this year, I think.
Yeah, we are working on a lot of that style of projects. Hotel chains that want vouchers, ticketing
Yes.
is of course very easy to do on blockchain. Imagine you arrive in a hotel, you get a voucher for a free drink in the Sky Bar, but oh, you're leaving already the next day. You never had the time to consume that voucher. Well, you sell it on the secondary marketplace,
secondary. Yes.
and you get a little bit of reward for that. I mean, that's so much more rewarding than a gift that you never are able to consume. And the
Yes.
engagement with the brand is a much stronger. I think the relationship that enterprises, startups, etc., have with their customers, with their audience, if it's based on value and not based on a Twitter handle or an email address, it's a much more engaging relationship that you have with your client base. So I absolutely agree with you that if you provide interesting utility in these projects, then you I think we've seen nothing yet in that regard.
Yes, absolutely. But that will come.